right, today we're diving into a blueprint that claims you can turn that lifeless dirt in your backyard into garden gold. And the best part? It's all about using waste, stuff you can get for free. We're going to break down this whole system for building incredible soil without spending a single penny.
I mean, listen to this question. It's the whole hook. It's a pretty bold claim, right? It totally flips the script on needing expensive fertilizers and soil amendments. The idea here is that our most valuable resources might just be the very things we're throwing away every single day. And this is a huge perspective shift. Instead of looking at your yard and thinking, ugh, my soil is terrible, this approach says your soil isn't broken, it's just dormant. It's a living system that's waiting for you to wake it up. And honestly, that changes everything. So, how exactly do you wake it up? Well, it all starts with what the source calls Pillar 1, the 7-day foundation. This is all about kicking that biological engine under your feet into high gear.
And the secret weapon here is cardboard. Yep, just plain old cardboard. See, when you lay it down, you're not just covering up the ground. You're creating this high-carbon blanket that does 3 things at once. It smothers the weeds, it locks in moisture, and it provides a massive feast for all the tiny microbes that are the key to bringing your soil back to life. And you won't believe how fast this works. We're talking about a 1-week turnaround. That trapped moisture basically sends out a dinner bell, and the microbes go into a feeding frenzy. The hard, packed-down earth starts to break apart, and before you know it, you've got that dark, crumbly black gold that every single gardener is after.
Okay, so you've laid the foundation. Now what? It's time for Pillar 2, recruiting a living army. Because you gotta remember, great soil isn't just dirt. It's a whole bustling ecosystem. 2,000. What's so special about that number? Well, that's how many natural soil-building workers you can supposedly get to show up to your garden in just a couple days. They call this the worm magnet hack, and it's wild. By burying certain types of organic waste, the exact kind of stuff grocery stores throw out every single day, you create this beacon that earthworms just can't resist. And you can do it in 48 hours. Now, let's look at how this stacks up. You've got your store-bought fertilizers, right? They're expensive, they're chemical-based, and they give you a temporary boost. But this worm army, they work for free. They're constantly aerating your soil and giving you a non-stop supply of the most potent natural fertilizer there is. Their castings. It's not even a fair fight. And to keep that army happy, the source points to charcoal. Now, think of it less like a fertilizer and more like permanent infrastructure. It's like building a coral reef in your soil. It gives all those good microbes and fungi a permanent home to live in, something that doesn't just wash away. And it can bring dead soil back to life in just 72 hours. Okay, moving on to Pillar 3. This is where we get into what the source calls forgotten science. We're talking about some incredible techniques reportedly used by the Amish that get explosive results from simple waste materials. Just look at this comparison. Your typical compost pile can easily take 6 months before it's ready. But this Amish method, which uses a very precise waste-to-gold ratio, can get you there in just 2 weeks. 2 weeks. That is a serious game changer. And it gets even crazier. The source claims that by using another common waste product, sawdust, you can create a fertilizer that's not just a little better, it's 400% more effective than standard compost. I mean, the visual right there says it all. And then there's this little tidbit, fermented ash. The claim is that just 1 cup can create a harvest so massive, so abundant, that the knowledge is deliberately kept under wraps. It's a pretty provocative idea, that's for sure. So these accelerators are amazing, but the ultimate goal is a permanent solution, right? And that's where the 4th and final pillar comes in. This is all about building soil health that lasts, not just for 1 season, but for decades to come. And the way you do it is with something called the biological drill. This involves planting specific plants with really deep roots. And here's the kicker, a lot of them are plants we just think of as weeds, but their roots act like living drills, breaking up that hard, compacted soil and mining for minerals way down deep, bringing them up to the surface for your other plants. And here's the payoff. By letting these weeds do their thing, you're not just planting a garden, you're creating a self-sustaining system, a food system that, according to the source, can keep on feeding you for 20 years with no more work. 20 years. So what's the big picture here? When you put it all together,
These aren't just gardening tips. The source presents this as a roadmap to becoming more independent. It's about building a self-sufficient homestead and opting out of a system that's constantly asking you to buy more stuff. And here it is, the whole blueprint in a nutshell. You start with that simple cardboard foundation. Then you bring in the worm magnet to build your living army. You supercharge it all with the Amish waste-to-gold methods, and then you make it permanent with the biological drill. And this really is the core philosophy behind all of it. The goal is to fundamentally change your mindset from being just a consumer to becoming a producer. It's about using this kind of knowledge and working with natural systems to build your own security. So that leaves us with a pretty interesting question. Out of all these zero-cost, incredibly powerful techniques, which one would you try first? The super simple cardboard blanket or that crazy fast 48-hour worm magnet?